r/ask Reddit. What do girls never tell guys? Our favorite bra doesn't get washed as much. When I found my favorite I bought 5 of them. That way you can switch them out, which helps them keep their shape and you can wash them less often. That kind of wisdom only comes with age. Anyhow, I've ordered 3 variations of my favorite bralette on Monday. Should be here soon enough. 3. Randomly you're just sitting there and a bunch of kitten juice decides to come out for no reason and it feels like you pissed yourself but you just gotta act like nothing happened. Bruh. This single bra made me spit my ducking water. Mayo. When I wear my hair in certain ways it means I've not gotten the chance to wash it in a while. Always so funny when I have my hair in French Dutch braids and someone compliments them but all I can think is you have no idea how badly I need to wash that. The top knot is the death rattle of unwashed hair giving up its last ghost. Specifically what was discussed in the bathroom. That's like the perfect spot to talk about everything. I have never understood why you would want someone around when you're in the bathroom. My wife confirmed a post I saw a while back on Reddit that I never knew. Apparently, when a girl farts, sometimes the fart rolls into their vagina instead of backwards. You'll never be the same now. Exit through the gift shop. And sometimes the bubble oddly stays, so you do like a little side move to pop it because not trying to keep a fart held up in my flaps for later. When we are on our period we can feel when a clot of blood comes out, but we don't randomly tell you guys because it might ruin the current conversation. What's best is when you are on your cycle, sneeze too hard and the clot passing feels like you birthed a jellyfish. It's midnight and I'm laying in bed giggling trying not to wake my husband up. I deck why this description is so funny but damn if it's not accurate. The tampon box in the closet is where I hid the good chocolate. On this topic, a rule of thumb to help my fellow men reading this: if she asks you to go to the store for tampons, buy her favorite junk food too. Just some wisdom I've picked up from a few years of being married. Men, I cannot stress this enough. Ask her what she likes when she's on her period. My wife usually loves chocolate but when she's riding with Flo she can't handle it and she says it makes her cramps worse. I made the mistake of buying her a giant chocolate bar one of the first months we were together and she ended up crying, staring at it saying she wished she could eat it. Also, I can't stress this enough. If she says she can't handle chocolate because she's on her period, do not eat the chocolate you bought her assuming she doesn't want it. Sometimes when we pee we get more than one pee stream. Just like you. It duckin' suwaks too. Like I just sat and peed. Why do I have to wipe my ass and part of my thigh now too? And sometimes trying to pee on a stick or into a cup goes wildly wrong. BC, there are so many streams. You gotta try to pick the strongest one. That many men have been blessed with perfectly thick, long, luscious eyelashes and us girls are a bit jelly of that fact. Many men. Many men. Wish death upon me? The reason why we don't want you to go down on us, usually it's because we don't feel clean. I had to have this conversation with my husband. He was super understanding about it. Now if he wants to be a little adventurous but I've had an eventful day, I'll just tell him I need to go rinse off first, which is code for washing my crotch and ass. He gets it. Honestly, everyone should clean up. Wet wipes are a godsend before sexy times, unless you're into the dirtiness. How much blood comes out and the jelly-like stuff during our periods? Uterine lining. Hormones not only mess with us during our period, but they mess us up the week before too. Premenstrual hormones, for me anyway, almost affect me more than the hormones during the cycle. Yep, I hate it when I'm being emotional and someone asks if I'm on my period. No. By the time my period gets here I'm already back to normal. Are you starting soon? Would be a more valid question. Yup, the few days before my period is an internal monologue of everyone hates me, I'm so stupid, I shouldn't be allowed outside, I am so angry over something small I could explode. Oh, a slightly sad song is playing on the radio, I'm going to go cry over it for the next hour. As soon as my period starts I feel physically like shit but my mental state immediately switches back to normal, and I can sleep properly again. Sometimes we think men are pretty Pretty as in the way your eyes are shining in the sunlight reminds me of fireflies, or your lips look plump and soft, and the way your brow furrows when you're concentrating makes me smile. But we also know men don't typically like being called pretty because they'll think we don't see them as men, like we're feminizing them. But I cannot express how much I wish I could call men pretty without upsetting them. Edit. Me on my way to openly call men pretty cause apparently a lot of y'all actually like it. Smiling face with hearts. Jesus duck. I would die of happiness if a girl called me pretty. Literally just drop dead on the spot. Edit. While I appreciate the desire to make people happy, I don't have pictures on my profile. If I did, honest people would not use positive words to describe my appearance. And so it comes across as insincere at best, and patronizing at worst. When you try to call me pretty, sight unseen. Compliments are nice, unearned ones are not. Edit 2. Hi folks, me again. Let me tell you some stories. Anytime I have a few drinks and complain about this to my friends, they always respond with, oh come on, you're not that ugly. Never you're attractive or you're okay looking or even just you're not ugly. Just not that ugly. There are a few people I met on boards here on Reddit that seemed happy to talk to me, romantically, even. Then when we got to picture exchanges, person has left the chat. When I met my mother-in-law for the first time, the first thing she said was, not knowing I understood Spanish, "Es muy fea." No, wait, you're married? Yes. Thank duck my soulmate doesn't care enough about sex to want a partner she's attracted to. I refuse to speak ill of that wonderful woman. But suffice it to say, no, she's not attracted to me either. Lucky for me, I'm not totally celibate. Sometimes when she's horny she lets me have sex with her. I'm sure it's a total coincidence that she always wants doggy style. Well, if you're married, why do you care if you're ugly? Okay folks, my life isn't some awful Oliver Twist remake. We are, theoretically, polyamorous. She's bi but agoraphobic and I'm ugly as shit. So we'd like the opportunity to have other types of relationships. But honestly, I'd just like to experience what it's like to be desired. I bet it's nice. Failing that, a person seeing what I look like and even being mildly pleased by it would be cool. Fun fact, this is why all of you're pretty and everyone is pretty in their own way and you just need to be confident. Ring so hollow. I'm used to seeing pity everywhere I go. Step 1. Be attractive. We hold our boobs when running down the stairs. I've never done this, it's a bit at a club. About the things that come out of our lady parts. There really is an entire variety of weird, moist things that the vagina can just randomly conjure up. When I was in 9th grade I went to lunch at Taco Bell with a couple of girls. I got a bean burrito with cheese and red sauce, and at some point a bit of red saucy cheese leaked out of the bottom of my burrito. Jen said, hey look, a menstruation booger. Not my favorite lunch. Cheryl made gagging noises, so I felt supported. Sometimes we don't wash our bras for weeks. Yep, weeks. They'll stay clean for longer if you just never wear them. Your looks are almost never the problem when we don't want to go further with you. It certainly couldn't be from my fedora. OMG this. I went on a date with a guy who kept asking me intrusive or obnoxious questions like whether I'd ever been in a threesome or whether I had any non-selfish reasons for wanting kids. When I declined a second date, he said, I guess it really is all about looks. Hot, as if that was the only possible explanation. And as an aside, he was not bad looking, more physically attractive than some guys I've been on second dates with. Women love butts. Women absolutely love men's butts. Women want men with nice butts. I feel like Tina Belcher spilled the beans on this one. I sometimes call my husband's butt Jimmy Jr. We like to play with our boobs, too. TBF we often just hold our dongs. Feels comfortable LMAO. Can confirm. Sometimes we just hold this guy's dong. How painful taking out a dry tampon is. Feels like your insides are being scraped out. That hopeful jokes about taking the dirt track when the river runs red are laughably naive. When your stomach is rock hard, bloated and tender to touch, cramps like your insides are being pulled out and you're actually sore from how vigorously your bowels have decided to move the second the other exit started endlessly bleeding. I can tell you now, the last thing I want is a coke rammed up my ass. The period shits. Ugh. Period shits are the worst. My favorite or most flattering jeans will be reworn with different shirts forever until they rip or I can't fit into them anymore. The last time I found a favorite pair of jeans I bought 3 pairs. The first pair just sprouted their first hole. The end is nigh. We removed hair a lot more than just our legs, bikini, and armpits. It differs for us all. Stomachs, sideburns, upper lip, chin, nose, nipples, chest, feet, toes, arms. Pretty much anywhere men grow hair, we got it. Always great when it's just peach fuzz, but not always the case. Not one damn adult woman warned Emmy about nipple hairs. Right, and why must they be so long? That we sometimes just don't know why we're mad or upset. Hormones can be depressing, even if we're in our 30s and been dealing with this shit for ages. Sometimes we'll just be a little bit let ourselves and feel sad. Saying nothing is wrong is maybe easier than saying I don't know what TF is wrong. What do you need? Is what my husband asks, and it really helps. It's either cuddles or to be left alone for the whole day. Sometimes it's cuddles and be left alone at the same time. We're cats. That we girlfriends discuss each and everything with each other. So, if you're flirting with 2 friends simultaneously, there is a high chance that both of them are laughing at your texts behind your back. Jesus, this is accurate. I moved in next to a girl my age a while ago, and at one point my roommates and I went for drinks on the porch with her and a friend of hers. And they asked us so much personal shit like how often are you having sex and whatnot. That kind of question is taboo for most men unless you're really good friends or have almost no filter. I was shocked that they were asking about our sex lives. When you drive really fast, I don't think it's cool. I think you're an inconsiderate asshole. Thanks for all awards, guys. XXX. Fear of death doesn't turn you on. You want to get to your destination in one piece? God, women are so complicated. How badly we think you guys dress. Yay, no. My wife does not keep this to herself. Yeah, I think in marriage people are more ruthless. If I'm dating someone and I really like them, bad style isn't a deal breaker. But if it's slowly crushing my soul, I'm super aware of it. The entire time you were talking to me I was bleeding through my tampon and didn't follow a word you said because I am wondering if I have another ducking tampon in my bag. Edit for grammar. We don't compliment you as much because we're afraid you'll think we're interested in you sexually. This is so hard. I'm constantly checking myself and running scenarios and conversations past other women friends to confirm if I was being flirted with. What's worse is being flirted with but knowing they're not interested the same way you are. Some people are just flirty, doesn't mean they're into you. That was a hard lesson to learn. IDK if this is for all girls, but from my own personal experience, when I vent, I don't want advice. I want someone who will listen and not judge. We see that friend of yours that acts creepy to women and we judge you for keeping them around. You're not a good dude if you don't fix missing stairs. Editing to say thanks for the awards. Sometimes we have friends that we don't see a certain side of, which only reveals itself to romantic partners. I disowned a friend of mine who I really loved at the time because I found out he'd use manipulative language to coerce his partner to have sex with him. And he cheated. If his girlfriend hadn't called him out in front of us, we'd have never known. My great grandfather had a saying, "Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are." Seems appropriate here. That women also often bottle up their feelings and are afraid to be vulnerable around others. Lot of things to do with birth and babies. I was shocked at how little my BF, who has only brothers, knew about birth, and he was shocked at how much I didn't know. Realized it's because mothers, aunts, sisters, female cousins, friends and co-workers will get into the details around other women, but if there's a man around it's hand-waved. Egg I had to pump for 2 hours yesterday. It was so painful cause my nipples are chapped and bleeding and some blood got in the milk so it's a bit pink. Look, I took a photo. Apparently it's fine. He's having issues latching. One time I finally got him to latch and then I had to shit, so I had to shit while feeding him, and I have hemorrhoids from the birth, so wiping was so difficult and so painful I started crying. Man walks in, yeah, feeding can be tricky. When our period is over, if they found out that I am on my period yesterday, I am not telling them it's over today. I can use it as an excuse for not going out or exiting bed. It backfires when you want sex though. I thought you were on your period. No, I'm horny because I just got done doing. We get our own hair caught in our kitten. Not actually inside the canal, or at least I haven't had that happen. But it feels horrible pulling it out from that area regardless. Also getting hairs stuck in our a-hole. That shit hurts worse than a mono sore throat. I find my wife's head hair in my butt. IDK how. The worst was when I found one wrapped around under my, well, it was bad. I'll say that. Literally not even 5 minutes ago I pulled a wife hair from my bunghole. We definitely have twisted our cooch hair at least once if it's grown out enough, lol. We bleach our underwear. Without discharge. We keep them sometimes for our periods. Are you also implying you throw out your bleached underwear unless you're going to wear it on your period? I've had bleached underwear for a decade. Sometimes we're really scared to talk to you too. When I need to fart but you're cuddling me. Disclaimer, I'm farting on your dong. Sorry. This is a more serious one, but most likely you'll never know all of females' experience with sexual harassment and assault. People don't realize that almost every girl you meet will have at least experienced some form of sexual assault at some point in their life. It's less common, but even at 10 years old they still could have experienced it. The demonic rituals we did as children at sleepovers. How scared we are of them a good amount of time. How we'll say yes to something we don't necessarily want to do out of fear you'll get mad at us. Periods can cause a whole list of problems, not just erratic emotions. In fact, most of the time I get irritable is literally just because I'm in pain and tired, not because of hormones. Also, PMS can start happening a week before the period actually starts. I will start feeling bloated and crampy like 3 days before it actually starts. And exactly 2 days before it starts, I will get a nasty migraine. The only emotional symptom I get is I get super sensitive and will cry at the drop of a hat. Last month I cried over a video of a guy calming his puppy down after his puppy threw up in the car. I'm talking ugly sobbed over it. A couple months ago, I cried because a friend of mine surprised me with my favorite candy. We have butt hair. How much you're joking can hurt. We love our boobs as much as boys do. What they want for dinner. Most of our tension comes from when you say you're gonna take the garbage recycling out, but never do on time that and say oops maybe next week. We smell our panties to make sure all's good. Most people I know who are interested in guys will agree that we don't get too concerned about looks in general. Open bracket. Though we will all have preferences, but we definitely notice how you smell. Female hormones enhance sense of smell, and I know I am like a bloodhound. I smell everything, and there are emotional responses to smell. A clean guy with average, or below average, looks is well ahead of the sexiest man on earth if there is even the slightest hint of funk. I don't like scented stuff like Axe spray, but I want to smell the soap. Sometimes we just want to kiss, or hug, or snuggle in bed without you pressing your hard-on against us. I sometimes recoil from intimate touch because I don't want to let anyone on. Why we always have our friends follow us to the bathrooms, woman shrugging. How afraid we are. We were taught from a young age to be afraid of men. We are terrified when we're at home alone. What if a man breaks in and hurts me? In the parking lot? What if a man grabs me and drags me into his car? Walking in public? What if a man follows me? Every girl has felt this terror because we are pulled aside and told if a man tries to rape you. And boys are told go get him. Tiger. Edit. Stop with the not all men BS. We know. If you were taught to be kind, then congrats. We aren't talking about you. Notice the women responding and agreeing with me while the men are all saying I wasn't told go get him instead of talking about what I actually said. This isn't about you. Sit down. This is about women being scared. Stop complaining about how our fear affects you like it's just some inconvenience that makes dating harder for you. That inside of me there is an overly emotional, insanely jealous, paranoid, Insecure girl who can't take obviously insignificant things as obvious indicators that you no longer love me, secretly hate me, are cheating or would like to and will totally leave me, but I know that's crazy, irrational and unfair to you, and I logically know that it's all bullshit, so I never let her have any control. Emotions are hard and it's scary that I have that in me, but I deeply care about you. I don't want to treat you like a potential suspect. I want to be loving and kind and fair. I know listening to that voice would be none of that, but boy, can it make my blood boil and my heart hurt. It can take time for emotions to catch up with what I already know. In the moment I'd rather say nothing than say something obviously wrong and unfair. Sometimes it's better if you don't dig deeper. It's none of your fault and I'll resolve it on my own. That sometimes we're simps too, lol. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.